And on the identification evidence?
It would be worse than worthless here. It would show bad faith on the part of the prosecutor if that is, and it seems it is, regarded as perfectly good evidence in Germany. Then the whole process of trial is even more disturbing that Roisin might face. Certainly, in this country, an identification parade is regarded as the most reliable form of testing it, but it's still regarded by the courts as a very worrying kind of evidence, a sort of Russian roulette of memory and visual recognition.
Three other people had significant contact with the suspects, the landlord's wife and daughter, neither of whom could make a positive identification, and this man, Ernst Beckermann, who, as caretaker of the holiday home, had most interaction with the group. He told police he could positively identify Beth if he saw her again. He did not pick Roisin McAliskey's picture out from the folder of suspects shown to him.
Mr. Beckermann, I have brought a photograph of Roisin McAliskey with me, the woman that the German authorities say was Beth. And I just want you to look at it and tell me if this person is Beth.
Das ist Roisin McAliskey. Ist das die Frau? Können Sie das sagen? Ist das die Frau, die Sie hier gesehen haben?
Nee, kann ich nicht sagen. Habe ich letztes schon gesagt. Wenn man jetzt wüsste, was das für Leute wären, würde man sich das Bild ja auch einprägen. Aber so hat man gesagt, das sind Urwarte, prägt man sich das Bild ja auch nicht ein. Ne? Wenn ich das jetzt weiß, so, die hat was verbrochen, dann muss man sich das Bild klären. Denn irgendwie merkt man sich das Bild dann ja, ne? Aber so...
Aber erinnert Sie das an die Frau, die hier war?
Nee, weiß ich nicht. Doch. Kann ich nicht sagen.
Says it doesn't remind her of her. But I can definitely tell because it's he just didn't really try to remember her face at that time, but it doesn't remind her of the woman who was here.
In addition to the witness and fingerprint evidence, the German prosecutors claim to have some handwriting they say is McAliskey's, although the importance of that strand of evidence has been discounted by her legal team, which says the authorities didn't even consider it strong enough to include in the arrest warrant. Of particular surprise to McAliskey's German solicitor, based in the city of Heidelberg, is the fact that the German police, who travelled to Northern Ireland when Michael Dixon's car was found a week after the attack, still don't appear keen to speak to McAliskey, someone they consider a prime suspect.
In normal cases, especially, you know, ordinary criminal cases, they for sure go there, ask. Because they want to investigate, they want to get information, they want to see if their suspect is true or not. These are normal investigations. Every policeman has to look to see if his investigations, if his suspect is really true. I mean, you can see it everywhere.
But you appear to be saying that in this case, the BKA did not follow the kinds of procedures that they normally would.
I mean, I can only tell you what I saw in the file, you know, and what I know since March. I saw no hint, no document, no attempt that they asked her where she was. That they even made an attempt to ask the RUC to investigate where she was.
Does that surprise you?
Well, I mean, it's not usual.
At the time of the Osnabrück attack, Roisin McAliskey was working for the Irish World, a genealogical research project based in Dungannon. McAliskey worked as a supervisor in a satellite office on the Glen Road in West Belfast, which has since closed. Irish World has provided weekly work records, which her defence teams say would have made it virtually impossible for her to have been in Germany on the dates the suspect Beth was cited.
It's the kind of material that if you were defending someone here would be considered extremely important and potentially convincing. What is disturbing is that by refusing to give the detail of its evidence as requested, and by delaying in producing its evidence at the beginning anyway, the prosecution effectively ensured that any supporting evidence that might have been in existence then had in fact been discarded.
If the case against Roisin McAliskey is as weak as you say, and if her alibi is as strong as you say, then the obvious thing for her to have done would have been to go to Germany straight away, fight the case there, and immediately have a forum in which to contest the evidence. Why didn't she do that?
Well, certainly when she was first brought here, she was not intending to fight the extradition, and her view was she should go to Germany. The more we discovered of her potential situation in Germany, a prolonged wait for trial of up to 2 years at least, and then a trial itself lasting up to 2 years, we felt it our responsibility to try to get Roisin bail here, where she had the possibility of her family to hand, and where we could have some control in fighting to ensure that she got decent medical attention.
The German authorities in charge of this case, based in the southern city of Karlsruhe, declined our request for an interview on the basis that, with the extradition decision pending, the proceedings were active. Despite questions about the value of the evidence, prosecutors in this case are believed to be confident that if Roisin McAliskey is extradited and stands trial, she will be convicted. It's thought that as well as the fingerprint, identification and handwriting evidence, the authorities have some other evidence, the nature and weight of which has yet to be disclosed. The Home Secretary, Jack Straw, only has until early March to decide whether Roisin McAliskey should be extradited. Meanwhile, she's receiving psychiatric treatment for trauma caused, her family say, by her experiences in Holloway, Belmarsh and Castlereagh. A Labour peer and former Solicitor General who's assessed the evidence says it would never support a case in this jurisdiction.
I can only speak as to the evidence I've been shown, but I have seen the evidence as it seems to have been set out by the German authorities. And I'm bound to conclude that on that evidence, it's very unlikely that anyone would be brought to trial in this country.
Well, myself and Roisin have taken the decision that if Roisin, she does end up in Germany, right, which is not an impossibility, right, it's said to me it's still a distinct possibility, that the chances are she won't get bail, right? She'll be in a prison somewhere in Germany. And we made a decision that the baby will not be going into a prison.
Traditionally, my own experience of Germany and Irish cases has been that will simply trundle on for a year and a half, at which point the investigating magistrate will walk into the court and say, Roisin McAliskey has spent a year and a half in Germany, and then he will turn around and ask her, will she plead guilty to some lesser offence which carries a 5-year sentence so she can go home? And I think the German authorities at this point need to be aware that the answer to that is no. Absolutely not.